Hi guys, so I've been using the Slapchop painting technique for some time, and yeah, absolutely love it. And as you can see, this little orc head here was painted in that sort of style, using one of my favourite greens, Charming Chartreuse. What I'd say guys, I've got a bit of a cold, so I am struggling to breathe, to talk, and all the rest of it. But yeah, so in this video I'm going to go through and do a different primer. This is something you guys have been asking me to do for quite some time. And yeah, now that I'm using these awesome paints by the Colour Forge, and they have a huge range of primers. So for this little test, I'm obviously going to use my matte black, just because this is the one I always use. And so I absolutely love how this comes out, because it's a true matte. And yeah, I picked 4 other colours, trying to go for a variety of a range here. So as you can see, I've got a nice sort of brown. Got a good old orange. Obviously, I love orange. It is one of my favourite colours. And I've got a lovely purple. I love the names they have for these as well. Yeah, just makes them a bit more sort of fun. And yeah, a lovely yellow. So again, I just want to try and get a bit of a range of colours, some sort of lighter ones and obviously some brighter ones. So to make this obviously a fair comparison, I printed off the same sort of orc head. And the reason I've gone for the orc head is, well, obviously I love orcs, and I really want to see how my green sort of turns out. I say I do have a couple of favourite greens. If you've seen my last video, I went through a few of my favourite colours. So yeah, I've got 5 lovely orc heads here, all in a line, all the same one. I'll leave a link down below, guys, to where you can get this this figure. It is from Thingiverse, so lovely and free. And as we all know, well, I love free things. So yeah, to make it easier for me to obviously be able to paint these without getting paint on my hand, yeah, sticking them on the other little paint pot holders. And then, yeah, simply a case of obviously priming them. Yeah, I appreciate this little box I got at the back is doing nothing here, really. As you can see, overspray is, well, overspraying everywhere. I do generally go outside and do this. As I say, I'm not feeling too good. A bit of as rough as a badger's butt and all that. So, yeah, I've done these indoors. I was wearing a mask, if that helps. But, yeah, overspray everywhere. I did have to clean my desk down afterwards. But so yeah, these are the Colour Forge. I've been using the black primer for about a good 2-3 months now, and absolutely love it. Over the last couple of years, I have tried a whole variety of primers, and whilst they generally do a good job, as in you can paint over them, this one by Colour Forge is, when it says matte black, it is. They're all matte colours. So these are obviously dried, and yeah, looking wonderful. Again, so this is like one quick coat over the things. And yeah, they all look lovely, especially obviously say orange. I love the colour orange. It's just a nice, warm, vibrant, well, sunny kind of colour. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Well, obviously I now know how these things look. But yeah, so you guys have been asking this for some time to do this sort of video, and yeah, I'm glad I did. And like everything, guys, if you leave comments down below asking me to try out new things, yeah, eventually when I get the time and the money and everything else, I will certainly try out new things, because this is a great hobby for sharing, and for obviously always learning something new, which is just awesome. Oh well, like this textured dry brush palette that I knew nothing of a good couple of months ago, and then someone in the comments suggested it, and yeah, obviously I made one. So something I am doing now, guys, I always used to do obviously prime in, well, generally black, and then dry brush grey, dry brush white. Again, a lot of comments were made about the fact that when I do the dry brushing in white, I am pretty much covering most of the grey. There's not really a lot of grey to be seen. And why didn't I just sort of skip that process? So, as you can see, I am now. I guess I think I just got into a bit of a routine of always doing the grey and then the white. And obviously every process you do does take time. So if there's a process you don't need to do, then yeah, don't do it. So I am now skipping that bit, and yeah, on the last few miniatures I have painted, I have just gone straight in and done a bit of white dry brushing, and to be honest, yeah, not really seen much of a difference at all, to be honest. Maybe some larger sort of miniatures that have, well, less definition in them, then I think possibly the grey and then the white would look good, just to get a bit more variation in how the speed paints look over them. But for, yeah, so these little orc dudes, they are... Well, you can get them in 3 different varieties. You get obviously the highly textured is the ones that I've got, and there's less textured ones. So these guys, their skin, they have wrinkles and all kinds of things going on, which obviously works so well for speed paints. So as mentioned earlier, obviously this Charming Chartreuse, so I'm going to have problems talking about saying anything, is one of my favourite greens. just because I just love how it looks. Like I said in my last video where I went through some of my favourite speed paints, some speed paints work a whole lot better than others, as in when they pool in the recesses they are a nice dark sort of colour, and then a lighter colour on the flat areas, and then obviously an even lighter colour on the highlighted raised areas. And so this is definitely one of those greens that I just love for orcs. And again, anyone who knows me knows I absolutely love orcs. They are probably one of my favourite sort of miniatures to paint, and definitely when it comes to sort of doing like kill teams and stuff, I do like having fun playing orcs. Even though I play the orcs not as orc commandos, I use them as other sort of other kill teams. But anyway, so yeah, so with this it was just a case of going through and painting them all in the same sort of manner. You might notice there that instead of what I used to normally do was stick my brush in the pot and paint that way, I have now 3D printed a little sort of well, a little paint holder, which you can sort of just about see in the background there. Again, having a 3D printer, yeah, I love it. Big kid in a toy shop, anything you want you can find online, or in this case I made it. Obviously very simple. I use Tinkercad. I can't do much in Tinkercad. Say it's a nice free software, but you can sort of add bits, take bits away, and obviously that's enough for me to be able to make a little well, paint pot holder. So instantly when I was obviously painting these, yeah, you can see straight away just how they go on the things. Obviously say this one, obviously a much brighter colour, the orange, and yeah, the green. So the greens, the speed paints are very translucent, and you can definitely notice that on certain obviously coloured primers. And in this case the orange one, as you can see, yeah, the orange still shines through quite a bit, which is kind of nice because again it gives the skin quite a variety in the colours. So as well as obviously being the different varieties of the green, the light, the dark, and everything else, yeah, there's also a little bit of orange kind of shining through. But yeah, again, you'll see all these all together at the end, so stick around for that. Because say I was, yeah, definitely very pleasantly surprised at just, well, just sort of how different they come out. And you'll even hear in my voice that I seem very surprised, even though I shouldn't be really, because obviously we are using a different primer. So especially in this instance here, some of the primers are a lot lighter than others. So that's just one coat of green over all of them. Again, I didn't want to do anything different, so they have literally got one coat. Even though with some of these lighter ones, I probably would have added two, just to obviously, well, darken it up, I guess. But yeah, instantly you can see, say my black one there on the left is the original sort of one, and yeah, so much difference, which I just absolutely love. Yeah, it really is a good way of sort of seeing just how the greens look. So at the end of the video, guys, I will sort of go through and say which one is my preferred one. No spoiler, but actually it isn't black. There's a different colour that I kind of almost prefer for the primer. Again, this is more because of the green, just because obviously I do like painting the old green skins. So yeah, that's why I'm a bit biased on that one. But as you can see, I am going to sort of obviously fully paint these, just to see how, well, there's only a few colours I'm going to use on this, obviously the green being the main one. There's a little bit of brown that's obviously going to go around this, sort of the bottom or top of his top. And then the hair colour. The hair, I wanted to use a nice vibrant colour, so obviously I've gone for orange, again my favourite colour. Just there's a bit of good variety on here, say there's a nice green, there's a dark brown, and then yeah, a very much light orange. But you'll sort of see again the orange, that's probably the one that I'll talk about more at the end, on just how different it sort of comes out. But yeah, again, this is one of my favourite oranges, and definitely one of my favourite colours from the speed paint range, just because these ones do go on so well. And yeah, there's just such a lovely sort of contrast in the darker areas to the lighter areas. So don't forget, guys, down below there is a link to the Colour Forge and all their lovely the primers. Say I've only got well, I've got 5 here that I'm doing. They do a whole variety of other ones as well, which is just awesome. And yeah, I guess I may eventually sort of try and get hold of the full range, and yeah, maybe do another one of these tests just so you can see everything. But again, like most things when it comes to painting, we all have our personal preferences, so don't forget what I'm doing here I know you guys might not like. This is just my sort of preference and my taste, and yeah, my take on how these all sort of end up Yeah, once painted in the same manner, but just with a different primer. And yes, I'm glad I did this. It's something I've wanted to do for quite some time. But the usual thing, I've never sort of got round to it. But I have now, which is yeah, which is cool. So that's them all pretty much done. The last thing I was going to do, yeah, so with the silver, I've just used a normal bogged down silver, and yeah, I'm just going to chuck a wash on it. So obviously the silver isn't going to be affected in any way by the primer, as this is a strong sort of solid colour. Yeah, this was purely just to sort of finish the model off and yeah, make them look good. So I do like how these heads looked, and there's definitely a lot of texture in these heads. I say the actual skin themselves, yeah, this guy's got wrinkles, laughter lines, all the rest, which yeah, really worked really well with the Slapchop sort of painting technique and just speed paints in general. Okay, now I think it's time to sort of show them all off and yeah, have a little discussion about what I think about how they've come out. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, really pleased how different they all look, which is really good. I know I sound surprised, and they should really all look different, but yeah, I'm really impressed with how they are. So obviously this is the black one, so I've left the backs unpainted just so it's easy to tell which one was which primer. Yeah, so the black one obviously is my normal sort of go-to method, and all the caps that I painted for the speed paints have been slap chopped. So these have all been obviously primed in black and then dry brushed. Well, these were dry brushed grey and white, but say now I think I am skipping the grey bit and just going straight into the white bit. Oh, please excuse me guys, I am dying now. Right, so yeah, so this is obviously the colour of the top. Does match obviously how he looks, which isn't too surprising, so that's how I'd expect them to come out. So this one's obviously the sort of yellowish look, the sunset yellow, and yeah, definitely a obviously much lighter looking colour, and definitely more so obviously with the orange. Obviously the orange on this one very dark, and this one, yeah, very orange, which again shouldn't be too surprising, but yeah, I must admit the difference is just insane, and I do actually like obviously the colour of the skin as well. Obviously this is my favourite green, as I said before. But yeah, on this one it has sort of changed it quite a bit, and definitely obviously you can see bits of the sort of yellow lighter colour coming through, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so I would say very pleased with how they do look. Oh guys, sorry. But yeah, so I think it's the thing to sort of say here is which one would be my favourite. Obviously say I do like the black and white because the shaded areas or the darker areas certainly are a whole lot darker. But yeah, so this one's quite cool, just the fact that there is, obviously the orange one, that there is quite a lot of the orange sort of comes through the green paint, which is quite surprising by how much sort of like it still remains orange. But yeah, so it certainly has a lot more sort of character to the skin rather than it just being, say, obviously all green. This one definitely has got some of the orange coming through, which is pretty cool. So yeah, guys, let me know which one you think you prefer the best. I say for me, I think the lighter ones, possibly not. I'm not too sure. It's hard to say. So I like them all. They are all so different. But yeah, definitely worth experimenting and trying things out. As yeah, it does obviously give quite a lot of different results. And also, I do quite like the brown. Because obviously the recesses areas are still dark, but yeah, again, not as dark. Say the hair's got to be one of the biggest sort of differences. That obviously perhaps that one might not have received enough sort of white dry brush. I'm not too sure, but yeah, they all seem quite different on the hair. Well, I say that the purple one's quite a nice one. That's got definitely a good sort of range of the darkness, but yeah, the light as well. So maybe. Yeah, I think the purple one may well be my favourite, actually. And I've got a feeling some of you guys have mentioned that in the past. Again, apologies, guys. I've got a memory like a sieve. But yeah, I'm sure I do recall now some people mentioning purple and then green. Really makes the green obviously pop, which, yeah, the green looks great on this. But yeah, it also means that other colours don't sort of go too dark. I say, the hair is definitely obviously the main one to sort of consider here. But yeah, the orange hair still looks nice and orange, even in sort of the darker areas, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so guys, Again, leave some comments down below. Let me know what you thought. And if you guys do different sort of colour primers, yeah, let me know what kind of results you get too. Okay, well, I'm going to go off to some dark corner now and sleep this cold off. But yeah, guys, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Let me know what you thought about these. And again, usual thing, guys, anything you want to see me do in the future, by all means, drop something in the comments. As yeah, I love trying out new stuff. Okay, guys, big fat thank you and shout out to my patrons, as well as Chaos Cards, and obviously the Colour Forge, because it certainly was fun trying out all these different sort of primers. And yeah, I think I might be doing more with purple, because that seems to be, I think, my favourite one out of this bunch. So yeah, great stuff. Okay, guys, you take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.